well, here we are again. Matt and Al, bringing you more. C.H.E.B.S from God Gaming. And C.H.E.B.S, of course.
A minute early, no less.
I know, right? I felt like the people deserve something better. Something extra. Season of goodwill and all that. Merry Christmas, coconuts. Whole extra minute of us. Yeah, C.H.E.B.S. Chatting, hobby, endless bollocks and stuff. We do have a subject to discuss today. Something extra.
Is it Christmas?
Season of goodwill and all that. Merry Christmas, coconuts.
Is it
Whole
Christmas?
of us. And yeah. So I was just basically checking the levels there. It sounds okay. So we would like you to talk about all the GW news, like all the amazing reveals that have been going on through Grotmas, all the brilliant little teases that GW have been showing off.
Hold on a minute. Sarcasm detected here, my old friend.
Well, we were meant to be. Yeah, it's been a bit crap, hasn't it, Grotmas? It's just like here's some articles that we were probably going to release anyway, but we've just put them behind a door for you for some reason. It's like, what? Why? Yeah, underwhelming to say the least. I did a video on it, obviously. That's doing quite well. Yeah, just a complete lack of effort. I don't know. I mean, like, I would have done something. I would have, put snippets of artwork up or something, like, just like a little section of something to keep people speculating, get people talking. It's the way to build hype, and GW normally is so good at that, even if they end up under-delivering with that hype. But they did those avatars need Santa hats. It's not a bad idea. It's really not a bad. It's difficult for me with the hood.
I want a black one.
You want a black side, like humbug written on it? Because I mean, I can draw this. I've got time to draw it. Even I can draw that. That's not a problem. That's a great idea, Colin. I like it. Avatars need Santa hats. Top
draw
stuff.
Live.
Live? Nobody wants that. That's really not. That's really not going to end up well. I mean, my drawing tablet's not attached or anything, so I can't actually do that. But yeah, we will have Santa hats next time round. Colin, you're absolutely right. Absolutely shockingly, awfully unprepared and unfestive. But as I said, a bit like GW really, because they just didn't bother doing anything. So yeah, I mean, I would have put something in there. It's a bit like their 50th anniversary. It's like Games Workshop's 50th anniversary, yeah? So this company is 50 years old. And that is a big milestone for a company. And you'd be like,
gaming company, especially.
Exactly, for a gaming company, no less. And you'd be like, well, shall we release some old models maybe? Should we do like an anniversary model or something like that? Shall we, maybe release some old books or a compilation like the old Apocrypha that they did for the White Dwarfs and stuff? No, we'll just put about 18 pages in the White Dwarf and be done with it.
It's quite a good 18 pages, though.
It was an interesting 18 pages. It was particularly good hearing from Tony, all women are evil and sadistic, Cottrell. It's nice to know that even they took him off the TV, he is still there.
Tony, you're too old school to talk on the internet anymore.
Yeah. Just a normal man, yeah. They've kept him behind the scenes, but it's good to know that he's still there and apparently heading up the specialist divisions team, which is probably why that's the decent part of the GW at the moment.
I bet they're all women now just to teach him a lesson.
Quite possibly, just surrounded him with women. Yeah, exactly. But the 50th anniversary, you're only going to get one, and I would have thought, I don't know. I mean, it's weird for a company like not even any 50th anniversary merch or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because they just don't consider games work. Like I imagine when Warhammer hits 50, which is like what?
Don't do the numbers.
It's 2032 or something stupid like that.
Never do the numbers.
Yeah. Then maybe they'll make more of a fuss. Maybe it's because like Games Workshop, they want Warhammer to be the brand. Games Workshop is just a parent company. But I was a little bit surprised. Hey, Kevin has joined us, and he only knew because we started a video.
Hello.
Oh no, he only knew because the video he was watching was already ended. Yes, we're fine, mate. We're fine. We're just saying how like GW. It's weird. Even when GW don't do anything to be crap, we're just like, well, you're kind of being crap anyway by completely not doing anything about your 50th. And I have this theory that GW don't actually really like their past very much. I've got a video coming out on it, which I'm working on, but I need to get this 3D printing one done. The 3D printing one is recorded. It's like going through 3D printing, the pros, the cons, even like how you do it and stuff, and how it's technological advancements now are so wonderful, and it's never been easier to get into it. It's about like half an hour long. I just need to put all the visual bits to it, otherwise it's just me droning on for half an hour. But that is coming. But I also want to do another video about how I think GW hates the past, and then I've got a video about what I would have done rather than Darkwater, because I thought it was 40k's turn to have a crack at Warhammer Quest again. With Blackstone Fortress being very, very, very underrated, I really like Blackstone Fortress.
There was a film with Jennifer Connelly, Darkwater.
Was there now?
An adaptation of a Korean film, maybe?
Oh, okay. Jennifer Connelly. She was in. I started watching the Snowpiercer TV series. She was in that.
Okay, nice.
Being all evil and stuff at the head of the train. So, well, not evil, but very much like what we're about to talk about. Actually, how's that for a segue?
Hot and evil. It's a dodgy combination.
The Imperium is not hot and evil, but then I'm not convinced it's evil either, as I've said.
Amoral.
There's been a lot of people that have basically been. Actually, before we get into that, we'll mention one more thing, Matt, because we've been doing some gaming, haven't we? But it's not tabletop gaming.
We have.
We've been playing.
I had a Necromunda game where we threw stones at each other.
Oh yeah, no. Why don't you tell us about that? Because that was the start of a campaign. No. Seriously, that was the start of a campaign that Gribbs put together, wasn't it? Like a
Gribbly Dave put it
Necromunda campaign. So yeah, tell us about that a little bit, because it was the very start for your gangs, wasn't it?
Yeah, a surprising start.
Yeah,
he got it from someone that he knows. He knows much better than me. Although I have met him before. He did like an old tournament at Wayland Games called Throne of Lols, and I took a fluffy towel list and got completely stomped by everyone else that knew what they were doing. And then I decided that tournaments were not quite my bag. So he played this campaign recently, and he decided to spread it to us like a magnificent plague. And it's kind of I do have the Gump here somewhere, but I didn't actually expect to be talking about it today, so I don't have it to hand. But it's sort of narratively driven, and some other cheeky gang, probably G-Steel Occults, have been faffing about down at the bottom of the hive, and they managed to collapse the floor and drop a shitload of gang territories into the sump.
Right.
So, which kind of put me a little bit flat-footed with the first mission, because he was like, right, we're going to manage to choose for a game with Necromunda. And I was like, good, because I've not played for about 2 years, so I could do with a refresher before we start the campaign properly. To which there was like a noise of crickets, and I was like, hold on a minute. Never mind, I'll do my gang. Where's my 1,000 credits? So I've got like my Van Sar sorted, and I dug all my models out. And I got myself like leader with a plasma gun. I got like a champion with a plasma gun. I gave the champion a cyber arachnid because I really want to see how they work. And they kind of seem to be like a counter-chargy beast, so kind of works. And there was like 2 normal techs with las guns and red grenades. There was a prospect. Is it a prospect or a juve? I can't fucking remember. I think there was a juve just with a las gun. And then there was like the prospects, like the hoverboardy guy, like a neotech, with his board and like a hand flamer and a las pistol.
Yeah, because they've massively overcomplicated Necromunda now. It used to be literally just heavies, leaders, gangers, juves, and now it's
not
like
too bad. It's not too bad. It sounds worse because I'm trying to remember what the fuck everything is. But the categories are still broadly the same. So you've still got just like a ganger, champion, leader, and then you've got like a prospect and a juve, and that's pretty much it. So it's not too bad. It's just that my juves are fancy with like hoverboards. Not juves, fucking prospects, Jesus. So I have to remember all that shit. So I'll get around Stu's, and I'm like, right, I've got my gang. Let's get this shit on. And Stu wipes out his Palanite Enforcers, and I'm like, okay. Gee, it's the cops. That's fine. And then Dave goes, right, so we're starting our campaign today. Here's all the stuff. And I'm like, sorry, what the fuck? We're actually starting now? And he goes, yeah, we're starting now. And I was like, shit. Okay.
So not a warm-up game.
No, not at all. It's
Straight
like,
in the
although
deep end of the sump.
yeah, although it might be like a mini campaign that runs through some of the rules before we do it in a proper big one, but I doubt it because Gribbs is one of those quiet and soft-spoken people, but he can be a sneaky bastard, and this is one of those times. And he's just gone like, "Psych, we begin now, losers," and I'm like, "Shit, okay." And he goes, "Right, so in this first mission, everyone was tucked away in bed, and you've all fallen into the sump, so you've got fuck all on any of your guys." And I'm like, hold on a sec. My guys
Bye bye,
have
cyber
armoured
arachnid. Bye bye.
yeah, I'm like, my guys have armored undersuits, right? So all my dudes had mesh armor, so I'm okay with that going. All my guys have armored undersuits because it keeps them the fuck alive because they're all irradiated weaklings. And he goes, "Yeah, none of that." And I was like, "Are you fucking serious, right? I've spent all this money on fucking like 200 points on plasma guns. I've got like an 85-point cyber arachnid. Can't use any of that." And he's like, "No, you got fuck all. You was all in bed, and you all just fell out of bed into a meat grinder." And I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" Right. So I have 6 dudes with nothing versus Stu's 8 dudes with nothing, and I'm like, right. So I'm outmanned immediately. And the way that the first mission goes is you kind of drop in your like your PJs or whatever the fuck your guys sleep in. You get no weapons, no equipment, no armor of any kind whatsoever, even if you should have it. And like there's 3 loot crates spread across the mid ground, and you 2 gangs, one starts either side, opposite each other, with like the loot crates going across as you look at it.
Right,
And
with no weapons. So basically, you like on different sides, almost like the old gang old gunfight used to be. But
Yeah.
the difference is you've got no guns or anything. You're just going to throw
no guns, no weapons, no
throw
nothing.
poo at each other like monkeys.
Kinda, except there's rocks.
Oh, okay.
So whoever gets the most loot crate wins. So clearly Stu was at an advantage because he had 25% more dudes than I did. He had two more guys than me. And my only real advantage was that 2 of my guys were BS2, so they were extra accurate with throwing rocks. The problem is with the rocks was the range was 3 times your strength. So because our stats were roughly the same, because we're both humans, the range was 9 inches on these rocks. They were strength like 2, I think. So even if you did hit someone with a rock, you have to roll like a 5. Who, for the standard person who's toughness 3, you still have to roll a 5 to wound them. So even if you did hit, it was far from guaranteed that he would actually do something. And apart from that, it was just unarmed fisticuffs, which puts my dudes at a distinct disadvantage when some of Stu's guys are actually designed for fisticuffs, so they've got a better weapon skill than I do.
Okay. Yep.
But
this is all getting carried. This is all getting carried through to the next game. So this is an actual proper.
Yeah.
But I presume you're not able to be killed by a rock, because that would be
No.
tragic.
So no, the lasting injuries and stuff was legit. But if anyone got like a terrible like killed result, or if they were in convalescence, or anything that said that they would miss the next match, that was all kind of cancelled out.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Right.
So it's not like you've been hit by fucking a las cannon. It's just rocks.
Yes.
But it was very, very funny. Like, he went for one of the crates. He went for 2 of the crates, and I was like, well, all I can do really is let him take one, go for one myself, and then try and contest one that he's taken, because he's got more guys than me. So he's got a natural advantage in going for more crates than I do.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
He did just about beat me by pinching 2 crates. And I got 1 back to my table edge. So
Okay.
you could win by either taking it off the table edge, which took the fighter carrying it out of the game as well, which does count towards bottle tests and stuff.
Right. Okay. So it's like you couldn't like drop the crate at the edge of the map and go back kind of thing. It was like
That's the other option that you had. But then obviously, if they've got any fast guys who are unmolested in the old-fashioned sense of the word, and they're free to move around, then they can get to your table edge and nick the crate and start dragging it back towards their own.
Right. Okay. That sounds like a lot of effort, though. I don't think I'd bother.
Yeah, so that was pretty much not going to happen. But basically, if the game ended and you had a crate touching your table edge, it counted as being grabbed.
It counted as being grabbed anyway. Right. Okay. Yes, that's what I would have done, because then that way at least you've still got your dudes. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
I mean, I remember Necroman doing like it's not hard to get a gang to bottle. It really isn't.
No, but it was a lot of fun. Like, just chucking rocks. It's just like a novelty. It's like this is the far future with laser guns and plasma guns and shit and power swords. Nah, rocks. Old school in it right now. You're just lucky there's no sticks lying around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So,
No, that sounds like fun.
That was a lot of fun. And the mission, we put a 2-hour time limit on it because as part of the rules for that first mission, there's like, I can't remember what they were called. Is it scuttlers? There was some sort of unknown creatures that was skulking around the edges of the battlefield in the dark.
Okay.
And then when it started, when 2 hours is up, basically, there's so many of them that your gangs are just like, no.
Yeah, you just got to bottle that. Yeah, you got to go anyway. Yeah, that's good. You need to put a limit on it because I mean, otherwise games can last forever. Although I remember Necromunda with only eight dudes aside in general, or birds in my case with the Eschers. It tended to be not a long game, Necromunda anyway. At least the original Necromunda. I haven't played much of the new Necromunda.
I don't think it's too different. Not that I ever played the old one, but it's still based on pretty much the same premise and rule set. So I believe it's roughly an analogous, some word. But the way that it was played in the other campaign that Gribbs was a guest in was if you did the loot crate business, because the game was timed, if you didn't want to withdraw your gang, you literally could just stay on the table until the time was up, getting XP from throwing rocks and beating each other up.
Okay, fair enough. Cool.
You still get XP for like putting people down or taking them out of action.
And what's in the crates? Credits.
Credits. Yeah.
Cool.
And then the way Gribbs explained it is that like you after the first mission, you kind of find some of your stuff, or you find like what was where gangs have been looting stuff from around the collapsed floors, and they end up dragging it all together into kind of like one place, like a dump,
right?
Where there's just loads of gear, like a shop. And
gotcha.
You end up getting there, you end up fighting over that with your gangs, and then after a certain amount of time in that mission, then zombies start showing up out of the dark and the sump. So you then have to make a choice as to what's the bigger threat, like your gang, like the other gang, or zombies. So then you also have to decide how much loot do you really need before you get overrun. You have to withdraw. And then there was a bunch of other missions and stuff, and in some of them, like the sump water or whatever the waste is at the bottom of the sump starts rising. So then there's a new rule introduced so that anyone on the ground floor runs the risk of taking damage every turn while they're down there.
Okay, that's cool. He's got those ideas to stop it from getting stale and stuff. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. I think it's on the last mission, like all players get drafted in for the last one with their gangs. But it is designed, the entire campaign, once you get started and geared up, it is designed that gangs get smaller as you go along through attrition. It's supposed to be fairly brutal given the circumstances. And then when you end up in the last mission, people should only have like roughly 5 or 6 maybe dudes left at the most. So you get all 4 gangs or whatever it is on the same board. And then you have to fight over trying to get to like the escape skiff, which is somewhere roughly in the middle of the map, and you can only fit like 4 or 5 dudes on it. So you kind of have to make sure that one of your guys, or preferably your leader, is the one on it at the end, regardless of anyone else being on there, so that they can actually escape and whatnot. So it sounds quite good, despite the fact it caught me completely unawares, and I spent too many bloody credits on gear and stuff, and I had less dudes. So. But, playing Van Sar, I'm not supposed to have tons of dudes.
No, that's fair enough. Yeah, you're the technically advanced guys. And it's funny. It's good that you guys are playing a campaign again.
Yeah.
And I've been told that I'm the adjudicator, which I have no idea what that means, but it sounds like somebody who can be bribed. So I'm like, We'll try
and rope in. Fortunately, Gribbs found an absolutely awesome website called Munda Manager, which you create a user account in and sign into, and then you can create a gang with like a credit limit, and you just run through all the stuff, give all the people skills and whatnot, and you can add people in your gaming group or other users on the site as friends, and then it also handles campaign creation and management. So you can then create a campaign, stick one of your own gangs in it, invite your friends, and they put their gangs in, and then whoever's running the campaign then has management over keeping track of who's got what, and he can see. Because it's all transparent, he can see all the gangs and how many credits they've got and what they gained, and he can make sure that everything's on the level and whatnot. Yeah,
keep track of it.
But it seemed really good, and because it's web-based, you can pretty much use it on anything. So you can just get along and then just look up stuff as you need to, and it's just really useful. Like Munda Manager, I'd never heard of it.
No, I know
it completely eliminated the need for me to maintain a Necromunda battle scribe for our group anymore. So I'm like, well, that's one less job.
Nice.
So don't have to worry about that.
Cool.
Which is kind of a shame, but kind of not, given that Battle Scribe's been abandoned by its developer properly now. And there's no longer a back-end infrastructure for syncing up like data and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, people are just going to drop off it now, I reckon. People are just slowly stop using it.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
Yeah. So that's good fun. So I'm very much looking forward to this Thursday, where I'm going to go around Stews again, and I'm just going to sit and watch Gribbly Dave and Farmer Neil's Orlocks and Delac
Throw rocks at each other.
Yeah, throw rocks at each other and go for loot crates.
Groovy.
So I'm quite looking forward to that, because I don't think I've done it justice, and it really was quite funny. Good. Like people getting hit by rocks and hitting the deck. Oh, that's 1 XP, but of course they're not down properly because it was just a rock. So
yeah.
And this dude's been pelted by 4 rocks. He's now wounded with like a flesh wound, and he's like strength and toughness are failing. It's like, oh geez, limp him off the board.
Literally, it's very, very Middle Eastern, isn't it? Just stoning people to death. It's like that. It's like that bit in what was it? Monty Python and Life of Brian.
Life of Brian.
It says Jehovah.
Packet of gravel, please.
No, that sounds good, man. It's good that you guys have been playing some games. We've got a bit of PC gaming in recently.
Like I did jokingly say that one of my guys, I sort of whopped out the flamer template, and I was like, I know we don't get shotguns, but one of my guys brought a packet of gravel. But I don't think it's going to have knockback. But yeah. So like, you just mentioned PC gaming?
Yeah, because we was playing Battlefield 6, and we're not great at Battlefield 6. I mean, we're all right. I generally get more kills than deaths, but compared to the youngsters and their stupid Call of Duty sliding about, jumping, climbing trees ways, these old man reflexes don't do so well. So we're having fun with it, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we're taking a bit of a break, and we're playing something called Galactic Civilizations 4.
Yeah, which is good fun, because we were big fans of the Civilization franchise. Not so much 7, because it's
I didn't like what they did with 7 at all. I didn't like the way you were locked into eras and stuff. I was like, no, that sucks.
But like, yeah, Civ 6 was great, and this kind of leans heavily on that while being in space.
Yeah. I mean, you could put a 40k skin on this. Basically, you start off with a home planet and a shipyard, and you go out and you colonize places. I mean, that is it, and then obviously eventually you're gonna bump into each other and the AI and stuff like that, and you've got to do some level of diplomacy with trade and things, but eventually things are going to go tits up and you're going to get invaded. And yeah, it was good fun. I enjoyed it.
Inevitable.
Exactly. And you make your colony bases, and then you've got your colonists, and then they're unhappy and stuff like that. And I haven't found the way that you can exterminate them or just subjugate them just yet, but
my populace is hungry. Half of you are turning into corpse starch.
Exactly.
But like, I think that actually brought us onto what we're supposed to be talking about.
That is the whole reason, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Fuckbase 1 is unhappy. I mean, come on, I named the colony Fuckbase 1.
I believe you called it that.
Why you would want to live on Fuckbase 1? But anyway, like I said, this kind of, because when you get to choose your different governments, I was looking for you've got like totalitarian, you've got, was it nihilism I chose in the end? I was just everything sucks, everybody can die, it's fine. And you've got progressivism and all that kind of thing. And it got us onto the main subject, which is the Imperium of 40k and the wider setting of 40k. Regardless of what certain people would like, is intrinsically right wing.
Yeah,
it's like pretty mega right wing. It's pretty much if you don't look like us, we're going to kill you. You know what I mean? But it's as much as it is that, and everybody's like, oh, they're not. He's in space. He's fascist. And going, it's all horrible. And anybody who likes the Imperium and anybody who likes Space Marines is a secret bloody Adolf Hitler in waiting and all that kind of stuff. And you get all that kind of screaming and it's so depressing. It's so depressing.
But you get people that don't quite understand that it started off as a satire with Rogue Trader, and you get actual right-wing people that think it's great, and it's like, no, you're missing the...
There is that as well. I mean, I don't think it's a satire anymore. I think it's gone beyond that.
Yeah.
I think it absolutely started out as a satire back in the Rogue Trader days. It's all over it, it's all over the writing, the tone of it, and everything like that. But as time's gone on, and they've established the Imperium is the way that it needs to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I know it's like not a good result for humanity. We've had our golden time, and we managed to fuck it up spectacularly.
Not as much as the Eldar did, though.
There's been 38,000 years in between sort of now and then, or 40k. And humanity had a good time, The whole idea is like our glory days are behind us. Now everything is a little bit shit.
Yeah, it's just slowly dragging itself with fingernails away from the abyss, but really it's just sort of sliding towards it.
Yeah, I mean, at best, it's in a holding pattern, isn't it? At this point, the glorious expansion of the Great Crusade is over. We lose planets, we get planets back. We probably lose systems, we'll probably get systems back. It's just this constant, deadly fight, for survival. And because of that reason, the Imperium is justified in being the way it is, because it is that that theocratic, that inward looking. It's why you've got these two faces of the Imperial Eagle, haven't you? You've got one looking towards the past, and the one looking towards the future, and one of them is blind.
The blind one looking towards the future.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not, as I say, nobody. I mean, the thing is, this is what drives me crazy when people are like, "Oh, I want to see myself represented in Warhammer 40,000."
No,
and I'm like, "Good God, why?"
Well, yeah, you don't want to be in there.
It's really. Yeah, it's not a place you want to be. It's not a place that you want to see yourself. I mean, I certainly wouldn't think so. There are certain people that are like, "Oh, it's me. Oh my God, I'm going to be this person. I'm going to be the hero." I'm like, no. Even the Space Marines are a little bit too sort of heroic for me these days. They used to be, and we used to have these special characters, and we used to have certain names and things like that, but we never had the kind of, although they might do heroic exploits, when it comes to Space Marine 2, for example, those guys are flat out described as heroes.
Yeah.
And obviously that's the way they want to go with it and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that it's really what I mean, I kind of liked it when Space Marines were just psychos. Do you know what I mean? They were just roided out psychos, warrior monks, and it's just like, they're kind of under control through psycho doctrine, but these are like dudes you do not want to mess with. They are like mission first, go in, wreck everybody, don't care about anything else. That's the kind of Space Marines that I could get down with. They were essentially stormtroopers.
Pretty much. Yeah. We are 2 steps from the Emperor himself. We can do whatever we goddamn like.
Yeah, pretty much. Like literally, the only people who's going to be bossing Space Marines around is a chapter master or an Inquisitor under special circumstances.
Yeah,
and even the chapter master normally he's gone through the High Lords of Terror and stuff like that. I mean, even to get new Space Marine chapters made takes hundreds of years. Nothing is fast in Warhammer 40,000.
Nope.
It's the whole idea behind it. They can set out to go and rescue a planet, get there and find out the planet no longer exists. That it's been just completely destroyed and stuff like that. These are the kind of idiosyncrasies and absurdities of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. But for the people who suggest that it could be like this kind of tolerant, liberal kind of place, it just can't. It can't be that. It's not possible for that to work and for you to have the setting that you have, where everything is basically trying to kill you. There's gribblies everywhere, and if you want that, you want Star Trek. You want Star Trek if you want that.
Exactly. Star Trek.
Old Star Trek. New Star Trek is definitely not that.
Trek.
No, I did a video about the new Starfleet Academy clip that they showed off, and spoiler, I swear quite a bit in it.
It's the usual flashy style over substance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, it's it's not that. It is the whole idea. I mean, you've got it's the quote, isn't it? You've got that quote. Let's just read it in full. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and the master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his exhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day, so that he may never truly die. Now that's only the first paragraph, but let's just take that. Let's just take that as it is. That does sum it up, doesn't it? It's like, yes, the guy who's in charge is basically dead. Basically, it's the whole God Emperor idea. It's taken from Dune. We know that, but the carrion lord of the Imperium. It is a corpse. There is a corpse in charge.
What a flattering title.
It's nice, isn't it? I mean, sure it could come up with a bit more sort of, I don't know, nice, but yeah. There are those that would call him Tim. Yet even in his deathless state, the Emperor continues his internal vigilance. Mighty battle fleets cross the demon-infested miasma of the warp, the only route between distant stars, their way lit by the Astronomicon, the psychic manifestation of the Emperor's will. Vast armies give battle in his name on uncounted worlds. Greatest amongst his soldiers are the Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines, bioengineered super warriors. Their comrade in arms are Legion, the Imperial Guard, and countless planetary defence forces, the ever vigilant Inquisition, and the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus, to name only a few. But for all their multitudes, they are barely enough to hold off the ever-present threat from aliens, heretics, mutants, and worse. So there's our second paragraph. And once again, you can see, they're perfectly summing it up. Everything is shit. We are surrounded by all sides, but they fight on,
The shithole.
It's an absolute shithole. Everything sucks. The Emperor is being fed 1,000 souls just to be able to project the Astronomicon so that we can continue to do warp travel. And we go out there and we fight because, it is an ever-present threat. It's written there in black and white. So the last bit. To be a man in such times, how sexist. How absolutely terrible. To be a man in such times is to be one amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of that time. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods. Now that sums it up really well, I think, doesn't it? If you want an introduction to a setting, that does a really good job before you read anything else. Everything is shit. If you are a man or a lady, things are probably going to suck.
Yeah, if you're a lady, it's marginally worse.
And, you are in a uncaring empire fighting for survival. You know, like that is it. There's no rainbows. There's no sunshine. It sucks. Everything sucks. So the Imperium is set up this way, and obviously there's a few reasons why the Imperium the way it is. One is the fact that it's so bloody big. Like, Matt, even in Star Trek, like the Federation is not galaxy wide. It's like a little bit of a quadrant.
Yeah.
You know, the Alpha Quadrant. That is the Federation. It's like a little bit of the Alpha Quadrant that is the Federation, and they managed to hang on to that by all being lovely and nice and you know, progressive. The Imperium is the galaxy. It's the entire galaxy. So purely for administrative purposes, like to hold on to that, Jesus, you know, to control a galaxy, very, very, very difficult to do that and be liberal in any way, because you've still got to travel across the galaxy to get anywhere. This is why there's so few civilizations in fiction are intergalactic, because then it gets even worse. You know, even harder to define. So what's your take on that, dude? The fact that basically the Imperium is so big that it can't afford to be, you know, this happy liberal place. It's like, yeah, we you know, because we've expanded so much, we are under threat by everything. Like if the Imperium was just the solar system, or just segmentum solar, a lot of the threats go away. But because they've spread and crusaded, they've bumped into lots and lots of things that tried to kill them. Now, they've killed a lot of them. That's what the Crusade was all about. So much lovely wiping out of aliens. But beyond that, like, everything is an enemy. So, yeah, what's your take on that, dude, before we look into the individual races of 40k and how they kind of work amongst the setting?
Well, I dare say, like, something occurred to me a while back. I'd kind of be interested to see how the galaxy was pre-Crusade. Like, I don't mean immediately before the Crusade. I mean when humanity first ventured out and actually settled the vast majority of the galaxy.
Yep.
Into what would become the Imperium, because undoubtedly there was other races and stuff that were already there and not hostile, and probably were like, as travelers, we can share this planet, we can help out, you know, whatever. And the Great Crusade had the express purpose of deleting all of the Xenos, friendly or not, or well, even if they were friendly when they first met them, they would have taken them out just because they were Xenos. I would have found it quite interesting to see what percentage of encounters as humanity spread were actually initially hostile and remain that way.
I mean, you could say that could be any. I mean, it's so long ago in the past, and it's so nebulous that could be any of the other. I mean, it could be Star Trek. Maybe it all started out like Star Trek. Maybe this is a sequel to Star Trek or something. You know, I mean, that is a possibility. I don't think it's particularly likely, but it is a possibility. And maybe that's the setting that these people that want the liberal Imperium are looking for. Maybe they want that. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's another game out there. Maybe somebody can make that up. But yeah, certainly whilst that early heady exploration could be kind of cool to explore, that's not an only war setting. This is an only war setting. That's the whole idea behind the name of the bloody game. Is that, you do have this world where absolutely everything is trying to destroy humanity.
Whether we've made it that way or not.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, there is a spectrum of threat, isn't there? You've got some things that are super sort of super horrible, chaos and, your Necrons and the like that will just like destroy you on sight kind of thing. And then you've got some other things that we can have an uneasy alliance with and, so on and so forth. They need to make it this way narratively so that you can have these kind of weird little...
hooks.
yeah, just to give you the possibility of like, oh well, you know, your armies don't have to be on opposite sides. You can do what I mean. At the end of the day, you can do whatever the fuck you want anyway. It's your hobby. It's your your game. But
Yeah,
yeah, the Imperium is beset on all sides. You know, the how can I put it? The supremacy of man is basically divine to be man's birthright. And the chances are that the Emperor didn't want this. You know, the Emperor was trying to make a new home for man in the webway so that we could get away from all this shit and man could assume his ultimate form, because that's what the Emperor wanted. The Emperor certainly did not want to be a decaying carrion lord and have everybody worship him in a destroyed, state. This is the opposite of what the Emperor wanted, certainly.
yeah.
But it is the most compelling setting. It is very hard to have battle games in a world where everybody gets along.
This is a friendly match.
It's a bit tricky. It does become a little bit tricky. So in a world of only war, where it is constant death, constant, attrition and toil to keep this giant organization, this giant regime going. I mean, just think of the amount of food that needs to be produced to feed these trillions of humans and stuff like that. The logistics behind it are staggering and quite honestly probably best not really explored very much. But you've got just imagine you've got like constant fleets of starships and stuff, just constantly always going about. And then you've got random warp storms that pop up and just kind of encroach on a planet, and suddenly like half its population turn to demons or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this is not a nice place. Star Trek, this is not. There is no sort of cheeky Ferengi at the space station bar trying to, sort of turn a profit by using slightly out of date bloody Kanar and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It is just everything sucks. So,
Inquisitor, so glad to see you. Why don't you try your hand at the Dabo table?
Indeed, exactly. I mean, you could have this stuff individually. I think certainly with you might add this odd planet here or there where maybe things, maybe they've not played their tithes or something like that for a little while, and that they are rebelling, and maybe they're trying to have a nice time. Maybe they're trying to kind of like maybe they're trying to have some rights and protests and sort of things like that. But you know what happens to that? The Imperium comes along and fucks them up. Because again, through watching Snowpiercer, and this is what's also informed this with me, Matt, is Snowpiercer. So you've got Snowpiercer, and again, you've got this world. You know the setting of Snowpiercer, I take it.
I've seen the film, but it was a while ago.
Okay, so basically, the world of Snowpiercer is you have, and it's not like set like way off distant future or something, but basically the world is frozen over. There's been an ice age of some description. It's like minus 146 outside. You cannot live outside. So one dude was like, okay, I'm going to make a massive train, and all of humanity is going to live on this train, and this train is never going to stop. It is going to just keep circumnavigating the globe forever, and humanity will live on this train. And basically, you're going to have a class system. So the rich people will live at the front, and then going back, you get poorer and poorer and poorer, and she gets to the poor sods down the end of the train who actually broke on board and didn't buy tickets or anything, who are like living as the sort of the peons, the serfs, and anything like that. And every now and again they get raided for people or whatever, whatever they need. But once again, it is a scenario where you need to have that happening. You know what I mean? This is humanity. On this train, it is all of it. They must have a system. They must have order against chaos. It's not that way because necessarily they want it to be that way. It's that way because they're looking at the survival of the species.
It needs to work.
It needs to work. You need to have a system.
Yeah, and the best way to make something work is to have a system and a guiding hand to ensure the system is stuck to and that hand can sometimes be quite heavy.
Exactly. And this is what's happening in the world of Snowpiercer, where you've got a few people that are like, look, we need to maintain this system. If we just let everybody mingle, everything's probably going to go to shit, unfortunately.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's just inherent that you have some people who are one way and some people who are another way, and you just have this natural order to things at the end of the day. And again, because this is humanity, this is it. There is no other option. It's like you've got all these people who are like, you know, oh well, you know, we're gonna attack up the train and we're gonna take over the train. It's like, and then what?
Yeah.
What are you gonna stop the train and get off? Because obviously we know what happens in the film, but the series is different, and the books that it's based on, the graphic novels, again, are different. It's like, wait, there is no other option. Like, this is it. This is humanity. So yeah, you got this kind of, again, a similar setting. Total control to ensure the continuation of humanity. And while you've got the, you know, the bourgeois and the hedonist elements to it, which, you know, are certainly things that you could iron out. Nobody's saying it's a good society. Nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying the Imperium is a good society. Nobody's saying that the system of Snowpiercer is a good society. But when that is all of humanity, you kind of need to, do you know what I mean? You kind of need to accept some things that are just that way and make, you know, allowances. Now, when we look at Warhammer 40,000, what we're going to do is, we know the Imperium. We know what the Imperium is. We know largely how difficult it is for its to function. We know where the inspirations are from. And we know the factions that make it up. So we know what the Imperium is. But what I want to do is I want to look at the foes of humanity. Because a lot of the foes of humanity define how the Imperium is set up and how it acts. So the first one we're going to look at, we're probably going to go like least dangerous to most dangerous, I think, in my opinion.
All right.
So the first one we're going to look at, and you know more about these dudes than me, Matt, is the League of Votann.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously the Imperium has been known to embrace abhumans in the past. We've got ratlings, little stumpies, ogrins, not a problem. And if you look at sort of the third edition, I think the third edition book's got like beastmen in it and stuff like that, you know, where basically you are a little bit of an abomination to look at, and you do not fit the template of humanity. But if you pledge yourself to the Emperor, we won't wipe you out right now.
Yeah.
You know,
You're useful and you toe the line, so you're tolerated.
Exactly. So obviously Squats are, you know, are a subspecies of humanity that have claimed their own independence. But one of the big no-nos with the Leagues of Votann, sheer fucking hubris, as the Imperium would probably put it, is we've got her here. James Mack says, if the most bloody regime opening quote comes up, Priestess said it's intentional. You don't know who's telling you that or if it's true. No, but the thing is, James, that is the only way that we can perceive it, because it's the only thing that's presented to us. So there has always been this unreliable narrator perspective behind 40k. And they justify a lot of it by that way, by saying, look, records are incomplete. A lot of it is apocryphal. A lot of it is third-party reports and based on all that kind of stuff. But all we can go on is what we've been presented. So yeah, you don't know if who's telling you that or it's true. But if we do take that as true, then the Imperium is justified, and that is all we can say.
Yep.
So yeah, it is a nebulous thing, but it is what we've been presented. You are always going to be the hero of your own story at the end of the day.
That's why Space Marines get all the focus.
Which is why Space Marines get all the focus.
They always have.
Like, going back to Star Trek for a moment, if you speak to the Bajorans about the Cardassian occupation, and if you speak to Gul Dukat about the Cardassian occupation, you're going to get two very, very different stories.
Yeah.
Also worth considering how humanity was treated pre-Imperium by the various Xenos races. Yeah, exactly. Matt was saying this, like, in the early days, mankind would, he had his golden period, but that was a long time after they first reached out. I dare say there was a lot of conflict. This whole idea that everybody, loves the Imperium, and the Imperium goes out there with universal translators and everybody magically speaks English and goes, yes, you can come over to our ship and we shall have tea and biscuits and discuss things. That probably doesn't happen. But as I said, what the problems the Imperium has with the Leagues of Votan is that, unlike the Imperium, the Leagues of Votan are like, artificial intelligence, fucking love it. It's great. There's no way it's going to go wrong. Well, the Imperium's going, no, not so much. So you know a bit more about this, Matt, don't you? You know a bit more about the ancestor cores and things like that.
That's definitely an aspect to it. I think the thing is with the Votan is that they are a subspecies of humanity that's separated probably pre-Great Crusade, and they colonized like the central core of the galaxy, which most races consider too unstable and hostile to attempt. And then they've ended up evolving the way they have, but they've been removed from the humanity for so long that they're now viewed as tantamount to being Xenos and highly unreliable and not able to be integrated into the Imperium because of it, but also slightly too powerful to be subdued by force.
But they're also, they're quite sort of self-centered and capitalistic as well, aren't they, the squats? They look out for themselves. They're not really team players.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically space dwarfs in it, and that's how dwarfs work.
Yes, exactly. That's the archetype that it's fitting into, is what I'm saying.
They've been isolated for so long that they only depend on themselves, and that's just the way they are. And they basically had to fall back on cloning to create members of their race which were hardy enough or talented enough or skilled enough or specialized enough to help them achieve whatever aims they needed at that particular point. The other thing, which is definitely something that the Votan are keenly aware of, more so than the Imperium, which is a key point, is that they have ancestor cores, which is where the name Votan comes from. That's what they are. The actual dwarf.
They're the actual Votan, yeah.
Yeah, they're called the kin. And they, like the Votan cores that they have are basically AI supercomputers, which have kind of evolved from ancient STC template machines.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
So some of them are almost certainly capable of reproducing ancient stuff that the Imperium probably got no longer any idea that it exists.
The Imperium would probably quite like to get their hands on those, to be honest.
Oh, very much. And I think, it says so in the Codex that if the Adeptus Mechanicus ever found out that these things were existing,
there'd be another crusade.
There would be. Well, they'd probably attempt it, but I'd say at the moment the Imperium's so set upon by everyone that I don't think they've got
time to deal with the stunties. No, okay.
Yeah, or two resources to handle.
But they're not actively working against the Imperium, which is good.
No, at all. No, but
they compete for planets and resources and stuff like that. They've probably got more advanced technology for sure.
Definitely.
But they're kind of just doing their own thing.
Yeah, I think their interests almost certainly conflict with the Imperial well-being more so than are aligned.
Yes,
I'd say.
Yeah. Okay, so next up we're going to come to.
Oh, just quick.
Yep.
It's also worth pointing out that Necromunda is the exception to this rule, because the Ironhead squats on Necromunda are an ancient offshoot of the Leagues of Votan, and they are tolerated on Necromunda because when the planet was fucked to bits and a complete wreck, they actually rebuilt it and all the hives. So
yeah, true.
Turned up.
True.
Yeah, and everyone else was like, we can't do anything with this. Can you help? And they were like, yeah, we'll mine everything and fix your shit for you, but we're staying here and we're keeping most of the stuff. And they were like, just fix our damn planet.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I mean, again, if a Votan and a Space Marine fleet or an Imperial fleet were to come across each other, chances of fisticuffs, not particularly high. Depends what the Votan are doing at any given stage, I would say.
Yeah.
If the Votan are trying to mine a planet that the Imperium thinks belongs to them or does belong to them from their perspective, then yeah, maybe you're going to get conflicts. But in general, the Votan are not a problem, apart from the fact that they caught AI, and that is almost certainly seen as heretical by the Imperium. But as you say, the Imperium is like,
100%.
we've got bigger things to worry about than that.
Which also pretty much applies to the Tau.
Which are next up. So the Tau are obviously an expanding, they're amongst a rare example of a younger race coming into their descendancy. They were about in the heresy, but they were basically sort of like, it's not really worth eliminating these stupid backwards animals. And then
I think that's way too far back. I think the Tau homeworld was discovered, off the top of my head, it's between, I think it's roughly 2,000 years before the current timeline. So they kind of found it, and they were like, there's a bunch of blue-grey humanoids on this planet.
Oh, so they found them after the heresy then?
Oh, yeah. Way
after.
after.
Right, okay.
They were like, right, we'll just mark this for exterminatus, and then we'll come back and...
I thought it was around about sort of like the Scouring days or something like that they found the Tau.
No.
So they're that young then? Right, okay.
Yeah. And then they just kind of, then that area of space got all warp stormed off, and they were like, you know what, just write that off, fuck it.
Yeah.
And then when they went back there 2,000 years later, they were all technologically advanced with like skimmers and stuff, and they were like, what the actual fuck has happened here?
Yeah.
But they've never been able to handle them properly.
Right.
Like, I think the one time they did send a fleet to delete the Tau, which I think was the Damocles Crusade, if I remember rightly.
Yes, Damocles, yeah.
A high fleet turned up, and they were like, okay, stop this. We've got bigger fish to fry now. You little blue dudes are lucky. Catch you later. So,
yeah.
But I think what's probably saved the Tau is the lack of warp technology. They've got no warp drives.
No, they did send out a sphere of expansion, and was it the fifth sphere? Went very, very, very badly wrong.
Fourth, I think. Fourth one. Went through, I think it went through the Startide Nexus. Am I getting that right? This is sort of like 8th and 9th edition lore, so I've not read it for a while. So like the Tau don't really have any warp presence, like, so, which is why none of them ever get possessed.
And that's why they don't have any psychers.
Yeah, they've got no psychers, and they've got no idea about chaos or how any of it works and stuff like that. And I think whenever they encountered like human psychers, they class them as somehow using some kind of mind science that they are unable to analyze. They kind of frame it like that because they just can't understand how psychers work.
Well, I mean, they don't have gods. They're atheists, aren't they?
No, yeah, pretty much. They're very pragmatic, so everything is done for the greater good, which is the best, to the success of their empire, and they don't really believe in anything else. That's your far side. But we don't talk about him, even though he's probably my favourite Tau character ever. But yeah, so they've got no warp drive, which is why the Tau Empire is still fairly localized in the southeast.
Yeah, they are. They're down in the southeast. I've got it on this map actually that I've put up. If you see it, it's not great quality, unfortunately, but yeah, they're hanging around there.
But yeah, so some of the Earthcast did actually invent, I think it's called a slipstream drive, which basically kind of skips through the warp. Sort of like it's described as like similar to like chucking like a circular stone across water, and they kind of go, but, and they just kind of dip into it and then come back out.
Right, okay.
But they don't have proper warp travel.
No, so they don't have to mess with it.
Yeah, I think it was the fourth expansion that messed with that a little bit too much. And the Tau themselves were fine, but all their auxiliaries who are not Tau, like the crew and like the Givisa humans who joined stuff, all went completely bonkers and murdered each other and attempted to kill off all the Tau. So, and I think that they
all went a bit Hellraiser.
Oh yeah,
not Hellraiser. Sorry, Event Horizon.
That's the one. Yeah. And then I think they established like the Startide Nexus, which is like a stable wormhole from their territory to somewhere else. And when they went through that, they found the survivors of the fourth sphere expansion who were not very happy or stable anymore. And I think in some of the lore, it's rumored that these guys were like quietly ushered back to the Tau Empire and disappeared.
Yeah. Why has he got an extra arm? Don't talk to that one.
Yeah, this is like a massive tangent now, but I think also in one bit of the lore, because the Tau auxiliaries do have a warp presence, they actually did develop a Tau aligned deity in the warp, which actually saved them.
Oh, right, okay. That's interesting, actually, because that's one of the things that we've had recently, isn't it? In the background, as it were, is we've had this idea that gods can be created. You know, the emperor has been made a god by the manifest by the worship of the Imperium, and that Guilliman is rapidly on the way to being the same kind of thing. You know, that this kind of massed worship by an entire civilization can create a god. Because let's face it, that's what the fucking Eldar did. You know, and
accidentally.
You know, I think that is. One of the slightly more interesting things that they've done with the lore recently, let's just say that. So, yeah, the Tau, again, in terms of threat, they're kind of expanding. They're going to bump up against the Imperium, but they're not overtly hostile. They're not coming after the Imperium. It's just eventually they're going to... There's only so much space to go around, and the Tau want some of it.
Yeah, not overtly. The Tau are 100% expansionist, and no one really knows how the Ethereals get the rest of the Tau to do what they say and work together as a team. So they're not entirely benevolent to their own species as a whole, and it's hinted that there's a bit of a darker side to how they manage that.
Yeah, it's like there's a caste system for a start, and caste systems have never been historically that great. So anybody who's sort of like, oh, the Tau are brilliant, we should all be like the Tau, they're so wonderful. No, not really.
I mean,
they're also not fantastic.
they're the least bastardly race in 40k, but there's also something slightly creepy about their management. So you're a bit kind of like, it's still not 100% good guys.
Yeah.
It's worth saying that whenever the Tau have encountered the Imperium, I think the vast majority of the time they've been banged flat. The
Tau. But the thing is, as I said, the Tau are not descending; they are ascending. They're only going to get better at what they're doing. They're a young race, so they could very, very potentially be a threat to the Imperium going forward, because the Imperium does not have time to bring them to heel now.
No. The vastness of the Damocles Gulf has basically kept them going.
Yeah.
Because the Imperium is just kind of like, they're all the way over there. Can we really be bothered when there's far more dangerous things actively trying to take chunks out of us?
And it's kind of a shame, because I mean, the narrative that comes up in 40k time and time again very rarely features the Tau. They're kind of just an add-on over their kind of race.
Very localized.
Very localized.
With the Startide Nexus, sticking them over right near, I think it's right near Imperial base, although they've had a lot of issues with Death Guard, which kind of made me chuckle a little bit.
They have, yes.
They are gonna encounter Imperial forces more and more.
Yeah, which you need to do to have the conflict. You know, you want these things to be able to fight each other. But yeah, the Death Guard basically turn up and go towards the Starside Nexus. It was Shadow Sun, wasn't it? That they caught. Yeah. So yeah, and obviously if you can get to the Startide Nexus, then you're going to be able to get to the Tau Empire, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, you don't really want Death Guard doing that.
Really don't, no. They tend to make things a bit smelly. So next up, and from here, pretty much everything is kind of a threat, but I've chosen Tyranids. And Tyranids aren't evil, they're just hungry. They're locusts. Very hungry.
Are we doing this in a particular order?
Kind of, almost. As I said, from here on out, everything is a threat.
I would have probably considered the Eldar to be somewhere way down that list.
I don't know, because the Eldar would quite happily destroy the entire Imperium if it saved one craft world.
Yeah, but they can't.
Like, overtly. Like, if a Farseer says, like, okay, if we could do this one thing, humanity gets wiped out, and it saves, like, this craft world from getting destroyed, like, the Eldar would do it without a second thought, malevolently, whereas the Tyranids are just kind of like, just hungry, really, just want to eat stuff.
Yeah, you have food, give.
So obviously, because the thing about the Tyranids is obviously they pick the Tyranids as the big thing for Leviathan. Oh, the Tyranids are almost at Segmentum Solar. Oh, it's really fucked this time. Honest. And never mentioned them again.
Yep.
2.5 years now. Literally, as far as I can see, not been mentioned.
Kind of disappointing, really.
Really disappointing.
Tyranids are one of the first things that I saw when I got into the hobby, because the one dwarf that I picked up had an Inquisitor Cryptman story in it, where they sent like an assassin form to try and kill him in his military.
As we said in the C.H.E.B.S that we did with Carl for the Tyranid Codex, the second edition. Space Wolves is next. Probably it'll be before Christmas. We'll try and find out when Carl's available. Tyranids was the first thing I got into in 40k. I was like, these are freaking awesome. I love these guys. These are great. So the Tyranids obviously they are intergalactic.
Beastie Boys.
Yeah, it comes to Beastie Boys, yeah. And they are the most alien threat. I mean, you've got other things out there like enslavers and things like that GW doesn't really dwell upon. But, out of the big ones, they're the most alien threat. They're this big hive mind. They could be running from something. We don't know. They're in this galaxy and they basically eat planets. That's basically it. Yeah. They're like Unicron. They basically eat planets. They strip it of all of its biomass, which includes all the people, and they keep getting stronger as they keep going forward, and they're eating the Imperium one planet at a time. Multiple hive fleets. It is like Rational Ginger says, they are just a plot device. They are as strong as weak as they need to be. And I think that is, GW haven't really... They're like, they're almost at Earth. It's terrible. It's terrible. But now we're going to go and talk about some other stuff. And you're like, okay, fair enough. All right, I guess. Maybe they'll pick it up in the next edition. I don't know. It's the problem when you've got this many factions in a universe and you're like, oh, we have to have them all fighting each other all the time and stuff. It's like the amount of faction. I mean, I think about bringing Dark Mechanicum in next, and it's like, great, okay. Can't wait to see you do a half-assed job of that one as well. But yeah, the Tyranids are an absolute existential threat to the Imperium. They eat it. They keep evolving. They keep learning. They keep creating new bioforms to deal with what the Imperium throws at them. The Imperium tries to poison them. They learn, to adapt to the poison. They are constantly, they're like the Borg, basically. They are constantly changing and evolving themselves to assimilate and take over the entire planet or the entire galaxy. They are just a swarm of locusts eating everything in their path. It's as simple as that. But they do have one thing that marks them out from that, and that is genes to the cults, which we'll cover at the same time, because they are technically part of the same thing, in that they have lots of human worlds where the Tyranids are like, that looks tasty, let's go and infiltrate that. So they send the Gene Stealers out, and the Imperium didn't even realise they were part of the same race, but they the Gene Stealers go out there and infect a human and then establish a cult, and then they start to take over the planet from the inside, and you'll sometimes have vanguard organisms like lictors and hormigons.
It takes a while.
Yeah, it's a slow process. I mean, space is big, like Douglas Adams put it. Very big. You won't believe just how big space is. You think it's a long way down to the shops? Space is massive.
You see the cults they take generations to get momentum and get going and to get into places of power.
Exactly.
They're not like my thing.
And like Kevin says, they're a force of nature, which is why I've put them here in the list of bad guys kind of thing. I'm Team Tyranid. Team Tyranid all the way. They're fine. They're basically like a recycling cleanup crew. It's fine. It's like when you
Yeah, we haven't finished with this planet yet. Get out of it. We're eating it anyway.
Exactly. But yeah, the Genes to the Cults put another way for why the Imperium is like it is, which is why I want to mention them, which is the threat from within. So a lot of the problem, and you could argue that this is also echoed in today's society at the moment, is the threat from within. Well, obviously I don't want to get too political, but you do always have that kind of perspective, don't you? That, you know, a tolerant society will always be more susceptible to a threat from within than an intolerant society, and you just need to you need to decide how intolerant you are prepared to be before you lose what makes you who you are, if you know what I mean. That make sense?
Yep.
Like, we could turn around and go, yep, we'll let absolutely anybody come and, you know, infiltrate and you know, come in and assimilate, but then you don't know who the fuck it is. You've already got a situation where people come and we don't know who the fuck they are without getting political about it. So, you know, you've always got that unseen threat. And this is another one of the reasons why the Imperium is so dogmatic, is that they have this constant threat from within. They don't know who they can trust. You've got this massive population of 1 million worlds. A world could turn against you at any point, and you don't know who it might be. You know, it's this constant suspicion and paranoia. That's the main thing that the Imperium is built on, is paranoia, because they've been proved wrong. They've been proved right so many times, unfortunately. You know, they don't have the luxury of being nice. You don't, because you know, if you're nice, and you are going to get taken advantage of. You know, as simple as that. So the G.C.E.B.S cults represent that side of things, and they represent amongst, obviously we're going to get there as well with chaos, for example. But they do represent that hidden threat, that kind of. I mean, they're Lovecraftian at the end of the day, aren't they? They're cults. That's what G.C.E.B.S cults are. They're based around Lovecraft. Cults, the underseen, the hidden, the cloaked. You know, the furtive.
The third
aspect, the furtive and the third arm. Yes, aspects of evil, as it were, if we're defining evil in that way. So the Tyranids are kind of a two-pronged threat in that they're, you know, eating all these planets, but at the same time, further deeper into the Imperium, you've got these cults springing up, spreading disorder and destroying planets from the inside. Destabilizing things, which is a whole other thing. And even more horrifying than that, they can infect your populace. So it's like, you know, oh, it's Jeff. I've not seen Jeff in ages. Jeff, why are you wearing a cloak? Jeff,
your neighbour's pretty.
Your neighbour seems to have an extra arm. What's going on?
She's got no hair though.
Yeah, no hair.
She gave me the eye, and I find that curiously hard to resist.
9
months later, all right, Sid, let's check out your baby then.
Oh my god!
Why has it got 4 arms and lots of claws with a really long tongue? What the? Why have you got a knife? No.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got this, this insidious threat, which again, you know, justifies the Imperium for being a lot that it is, and going from an insidious threat to a very overt threat, and a race that's always been a little bit of a sticking point with me at 40k, is the Orcs. The Orcs just want to have fun. They just want to fight. They're just party boys.
40k came out of the Thatcherite Britain of the 70s and 80s. You just look at Orcs.
Yeah. I mean, the Orcs are basically football hooligans.
The football hooligan menace, yeah.
They are. They're the football hooligan menace. They're just like skinheads.
100%.
And, it's a bit of a it's a bit of a shame, because they also come burdened with the idea of being the comic relief. Of
40k, they were far
40K.
more suitable. Because
they were, yes, they've not changed with the times. And again, you've got this kind of whole orky thing of like, and it was, you know, sort of like never meant to be like that. It was always meant to be that they had their own language, but every now and again you'd hear this odd human word
thrown in.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, what a git, you know, let's go clobber them, that kind of stuff. They had their own language, and they would sort of try and mimic a human word here or there or something like that, and you'd hear something, not this kind of primitive comic type speech, which they've been settled on now. And for that reason, I've never really been able to take the Orcs seriously. That's the problem with me. It's why I've never felt compelled to collect Orcs.
No, yeah. I'm not really a fan of their style. I'm happy that they're in 40k.
Yeah, I like the fact they're in 40k. You've got this great big horde army, and I love that, people collect them. Mike's got orcs. I think Stu's got orcs.
Stu got orcs as well.
Yeah.
As a policeman, of course, orcs.
And yeah, no, that's fine. And some of the models are really nice. Like, there are definitely models within the orc army that I'd be like, yeah, I'd paint that. It's a nice model. It's a nice model. But orcs have just never really appealed to me because they always just seemed a little bit silly. But they are still a threat to the Imperium in that they go about doing what they want to do, and that's fighting, and they don't care who. And obviously Armageddon is their ancestral homeworld that they got booted off all those years ago, and they keep going back to it and causing aggro. And they are basically a thorn in the side of the Imperium. They're just constantly causing fucking aggro. And the Imperium's like, could you not, please? Could you not just launch that armada of rocks at that planet and go and have a scrap on it? Can you just fuck off over there somewhere, please?
There's a really weird area of space, sort of in the middle, but north a little bit. It looks a bit like an eye. Go there.
Exactly. They should do a massive campaign, a massive advertisement campaign saying biggest scrap ever here, and then an arrow just pointing. They did do things, and didn't they try and direct a load of orcs in front of a Tyranid Hive fleet once? Wasn't that a thing in the lore?
Yeah, I think.
And all that happened was the Tyranids got stronger and the orcs got stronger.
Yeah.
Shit.
Empowered both of them.
Because orcs, the more they fight, the bigger they get. The more they fight, the tougher they get, the longer they live. That kind of stuff. But one of the other problems with orcs is they are walking fungi. And when you destroy them and think you've wiped them out, they just have all these spores, and more orcs are born. And then these orcs also want to fight.
Born.
And yeah, they are another threat to the Imperium. I mean, 9 impossible to wipe out, time-consuming and annoying to fight, and a threat in their own right. They've certainly had their amount of victories and stuff like that. Look at Ryland's World. That didn't go. No, that didn't go. Sorry, Rin's World. That didn't go so well for the Crimson Fists versus the Orcs. So they are another threat to the Imperium, and they're probably one of the oldest threats to the Imperium type thing, And I think it was James said earlier, if the Imperium went out there and met Orcs, it would not go well.
No.
I don't think anybody likes the Orcs apart from other Orcs.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that lumbered in this way. I'd love to see really, truly dangerous, mean Orcs. I really would. I'd love to see them throw off the comedy shackles that they have. But I understand why they have it and why they need to be there.
Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a little bit at the back of my brain which is saying that orcs are basically the counterpart to Eldar.
Yeah, well, you've got the War in Heaven.
Yeah.
They're all created by the old ones, the old race. And orcs were crocs. I think they were called crocs or something. And they were basically they were designed as a weapon to wipe everything out, but they worked too well.
Yeah.
The Necrontyr, I think, had something to do with it. And the War in Heaven, it was like, shit, we're kind of losing this, so we're going to invent a new weapon, orcs. I know it's been a while since I watched the video. I need to watch it again. But yeah, they and then they got, it's like cane toads in Australia. They're green and warty. And Australia had a big problem with some kind of I think it's some kind of beetle or something. And shit, it's eating all our crops and everything. And it's like, release the cane toads, they will eat the beetles, and then we will be fine. And the cane toads went, oh, nice. No, we don't want to eat these beetles, we want to eat other wildlife. And now we're going to massively populate and cause an ecological disaster. And they're like, shit. It's like cats, man. Cats in New Zealand. New Zealand's currently going through a plan to cull 2.5 million cats.
All the girls won't like that.
Because they're breeding, they're eating everything. They're an ecological disaster. They're not meant to be there, certainly in those numbers. It's like Corfu, man. I went to Corfu and I swear there's more cats on Corfu than people.
probably is. I mean, to be fair, the rise in cats as pets over the last, I think it's like 100 years, is why there's been such a decline in a lot of bird species.
Absolutely,
Like, when was
yeah.
the time you saw like swifts or swallows or any of the more interesting looking birds?
Exactly, yeah. No, cats have an absolutely horrific toll upon wildlife. If people don't put bells on them to give birds a chance and let them roam about and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of like an invasive pest. And that's kind of the same kind of situation there. But they're cool. I wish they were more of a threat. But yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, with the orcs is like orcs never lose. No, orcs is never beat. If they win, they win, and if they lose, they can just come back and have another go. I think is what it is, or something like that. And they are again a massive threat to the Imperium. It's lucky that the orcs are just basically just until there's a war, until one of the big warlords smacks a load of heads together and goes, right, let's go and actually do something. The orcs, it's like Chaos. If Chaos could ever get themselves together and organise themselves properly, the Imperium probably wouldn't stand a chance. But there's all infighting and all that kind of stuff which prevents them from achieving their aims. Much like the Imperium. I'm sure if the Imperium could marshal all of its forces and get itself sorted out properly, they could be this great force. But they're fractured. They're always arguing with each other. You've got the bureaucracy, and that prevents them from being their best form. From humanity achieving its best guise, as it were. Again, the opposite of Star Trek. Star Trek is all about humanity has advanced. Humanity is the best it has ever been, and is still looking to get better. The Imperium is not that. Next up, choose one, Matt. Eldar or the Necrons? Necrons. Okay, so basically Necrons ruled everything a long time ago, went to sleep, woke up and went, excuse me?
Vermin everywhere.
What the fuck's going on? What's this? You had the War in Heaven. The Necrontyr are the race that used to be the Necrontyr, one of the oldest in the galaxy. Some fascinating lore additions there, probably one of the best that they did. And they had this great big war in heaven and fought these star gods called the Catan, and it kind of really destroyed the Necron race because they basically went, okay, well, the only way we're going to win this is by taking our really weak little feeble bodies and getting rid of them and putting our spirits into these machines that will endure and won't be destroyed by this radiation that's being used against us.
Not that they knew that was the plan when they signed up to it.
Not so much, no.
Where the deceiver gets his name from.
I always thought it was propaganda that the orcs are funny, so the truth of how so the truth is kept secret of how terrifying they are to fight. That'd be cool. I'd like that. That'd be great if you had loads of in-world propaganda that showed the orcs like they are in sort of like the stupid way, and then the actual models are and the actual lore behind them is that there's these horrible, a bit like sort of we used to do with or to be honest, any country would do in its propaganda in wartime, be like, those Nazis, they're just silly old folks. We're going to give them a good slapping and send them off packing back to Germany, to try and hide the
horror and the threat,
the actual horror of what is really going on. Well, you want to keep your people motivated, don't you? You want to keep your populace inspired, and probably the way to do that is not by going, look, we're losing really badly and all that kind of stuff. So that's the whole idea behind propaganda. And when it comes to the Necrons, obviously Necrons initially got introduced in second, got a big rework around about fifth or sixth with the lore. Was it fifth? Was it?
Matt Ward got roped into sorting it all out, and he basically reversed the situation.
Yeah.
So I think from third to fourth, Necrons were a lot more like Terminators.
You literally had Warriors, Immortals, Scarabs, and the Lords, I think. Did you even have?
Pretty
You
much.
might have had destroyers,
They are quite old, so yeah, probably.
but that was it.
Probably.
That was
Yeah,
it.
but lore-wise, they were kind of like the Satan one. Well, I used to call them Satan because it's kind of sounds a bit like Satan.
Well,
which
I always
makes-
figured that. I always figured that was the idea. Same as Comorra. People say it's Comorra. No, it's like no, it's Comorra. It's Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, that's the whole idea behind it. The excess, the the perversion. You know, GW's not particularly original with names, so no, I always figured it was Satan as well. To be honest.
Yeah. And so initially the Satan won, and the Necrons were basically slaved to them.
Yep.
In their got bodies, but then Matt Ward came along and they kind of went, well, we can't really take this anywhere. We can't do anything else.
No, that's it. They're just stuck. If the Katana, if the Satan are in control, then it all just kind of stops.
Yeah, it just becomes stagnant. So they swapped it around and said, actually, the Necrons beat the Satan and shattered them into shards, which they then enslaved and they use on the battlefield and stuff.
Yeah.
Which then allowed them to come up with like Necron hierarchies and characters.
That's it, exactly. It gave them an opportunity to make the Necrons a little bit more than just space undead, which is what they were before that.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, like, people complained about it and they were like, oh, you've just made them a bit more shit now and blah, blah, they're just Tomb Kings in space. But it's like, well, your army's your army, right? If you want your Necrons to just be boring automatons that don't really do anything, then just have them as boring automatons that don't do anything. Like, it's not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly bits about the Necron lore that I don't like. With regards to the modern stuff, but the War in Heaven and everything, I have no problems with at all. So, basically, they won, they beat the Satan, but then they were just like, all right, we're really knackered now. We're going to have a nap and wake up when we're all recharged, and then we'll take over the galaxy again.
Yeah. Didn't quite pan out that way.
Did not put the snooze alarm on. Did not put the alarm on. Overslept somewhat. It's like the end of Evil Dead 3. Medieval Dead, Army of Darkness, where Ash.
Yeah. Although there's two endings to that. There's one.
There is. You're right. Yes. There is.
When he goes back. He goes back into the future to modern times. And he was asleep for too long, and he wasn't around to stop the.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. And then you got the other one where he's in the supermarket and you get to see everything. Yeah.
That's the one I saw first.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. So they're a bit like that. They've woken up, and now there's all these upstart races absolutely everywhere, stomping all over their lawn, as Rational Ninja says, making a mess. And the Necrons are like, "Could you not, please? This is all ours. What the fuck are you doing?"
What I like about that is that if you're a particularly creative 30k player and you fancy roping some Necrons into 30k to make it more interesting, there's nothing in the lore that says that the Great Crusade didn't encounter.
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, Tomb Worlds, because basically what it is the Necrons are asleep and then they get disturbed.
Yeah.
This isn't like the Necrons are now waking up. It's like they're being disturbed.
Well, it's a bit of both. They're waking up now. But back then, it would have been like a threat to the Tomb World, and they would have been woken up by the that runs.
The old Adeptus Mechanicus come in and start drilling. Necrons are like, what the fuck's going on there?
You know what fucking time it is? We're going to have you.
Exactly. So they wake up and give them a slap. So the Necrons obviously are a very big threat. They are made of living metal. They are more or less undying, immortal.
Slightly cheaty in your hands.
Tesla, and kind of horrific in most ways. They are one of the because the thing of the Necrons is we don't realise exactly how many of them there are.
Not at all.
There could be a lot more. We just don't know it.
Yeah. What's the Tomb World? What isn't? They just kind of wake up. They wake up and people go, "Oh shit!" Like. That's what I really liked some of the old lore. I think it was like on the 3rd or the 4th edition codex. The 3rd was the first one when they were first introduced as a proper cohesive force. It's either in that or the 3rd one where there's an Imperial guard column on a desert planet, like tanks, just going from point A to B, just like la la la. This is what we do. This is a nice safe world. and then suddenly, just like out of the sand all around them, just metal skeletons slowly rise up and just start putting holes through their tanks just silently, and they're like, "We haven't got a clue what's going on. We're all getting murdered. What the hell is this?"
And again,
like,
you know, when it comes to the Imperium will, you know, it will see this as a threat, and it'll be like, look,
it's right.
We've worked out that these wankers can wake up on any planet that we own, which is basically all of them.
Potential there.
Eternal vigilance. Don't go fucking about with stuff you're not supposed to be fucking about with. Behave, because if these guys wake up, we're in trouble. You know, it's just another reason for the Imperium to be dogmatic and authoritative. And you know, like, you've got the Adeptus Mechanicus, because obviously the Adeptus Mechanicus doesn't always get on with the Imperium as it is.
No.
Even though we're on the same side, the Adeptus Mechanicus will quite often go, we're going to this planet, we're going to go and mount an exploratory survey, not really anything you can do about it, the Omnissiah says we can.
Yeah.
And the High Lords of Terror is like, what? Like,
yeah.
no.
The Fabricator General is basically one of the High Lords, ain't he? And he just says, we're going and doing this. Well,
yeah, that's it. The Fabricator General, yeah, stop me.
Doesn't ask for permission, just goes like, yeah, it's our divine right, the Omnissiah wills it. So
exactly. It's like, what are you going to do? Stop us? Good luck getting your fucking tanks.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you know, the Adeptus Mechanicus can always go and do that and wake up Necrons and stuff like that as well. So the Necrons, again, another big threat to the Imperium. Nobody's their friend. The Necrons definitely aren't either. The Necrons want everybody gone. They want the galaxy back for themselves. I mean,
in the more recent lore, they're not adverse to temporary alliances to stop themselves from being deleted.
The infamous Matt Ward Brofist! Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, the Necrons, at the end of the day, the Necrons are kind of playing the long game, aren't they? Again, so they're like, look, if teaming up with somebody or using somebody, as they would see it, because they see everybody as inferior, if using somebody to achieve our aims will help us achieve our aims, then we will quite happily use you. That's fine.
Yeah, but you just have to hope that if you need that to be a possibility to stop your battle barge and marine fleet from getting deleted, you just kind of have to hope that, one, there's a Necron around who is advanced and intelligent enough to actually understand what you're doing, and two, that they actually agree with you in the first place, and then three, you have to watch them very closely, because at some point they'll just be like, now we can crush the vermin, we don't need their support anymore. And
yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, there's no long-term alliance here. The Imperium, the Imperium doesn't have anybody it can trust. They can only trust themselves, and even then, not that much. So, that leads us on to the Eldar. Basically, space elves. We'll cover all the Eldar together at the same time.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's just going to take forever. So basically, the Eldar were a race, in supremacy. They fucked about a bit too much, literally. Destroyed their own race, created the god of Slaanesh. Nice one. They were one of the armies in the war in heaven. Their days are beyond, they're past them. They are a declining, dying race. They're a dying race. And they're just hanging on for survival, and unfortunately that quite often, their aims and the Imperium's aims do not align. As I've said before, the Eldar would quite happily sacrifice the entire Imperium if it was in their benefit. They are aliens, they are not meant to be relatable, they're not meant to be the good guys, they've paid the price for their hubris. There's a whole bunch of them, the Dark Eldar, that will lurk. Actually, we really like this stuff that we've been doing that caused everything to go tits up, and we're going to carry on doing it a lot, and try and protect ourselves from Slaanesh by consuming souls ourselves, or consuming, pain ourselves, kind of thing. And then you've got the Harlequins that just that they're in a play, just having a play, they're just acting out some divine sort of Kregarach laughing God's wills type thing. Yeah. But when it comes to a threat as the Eldar, they certainly are a threat. The technology advanced compared to the Imperium. Or at least they used to be, because they used to be the only ones with hover tanks. And then Call turned up and went, we could do that as well.
Oh, no, wait. The Tal turned up first.
the Eldar had hover tanks before the Imperium, before the Tau.
Yeah, but the Tau had them before the Imperium, is what I mean.
Oh yeah, no, but that's fine because they were technologically advanced race. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The Imperium aren't. So this was what made the other races stand out, was the fact that they had hover tanks and they had giant robot suits and stuff like that. And now the Imperium, I mean, I'm not talking about knights, that's not really a robot suit in that kind of way. But now the Imperium's got hover tanks everywhere, and it's just like...
yeah, well done.
Well done. You've just homogenised everything and made everything crap. But yeah, the Eldar, they seem to have given up the Yinari thing, don't they?
Yeah, seems to have gone away.
But yeah, the Eldar certainly are a threat, but they're not... They're a threat in that they have been known to be overtly hostile to the Imperium, but they're on the way out. Like they're not having a good time. There are less Eldar every day, not more Eldar every day.
Yeah, I think that the threat of the Eldar is their schemy, sneaky nature. So at any point, if some woe befalls the Imperium or an Imperial system or a planet or something, you can toss a coin and, 50-50, maybe the Eldar had something to do with shaping the way that things went, and now the humans are getting done instead of them.
Well, the thing is that they can manipulate the strands of time, and, so it might be the Empire did the Eldar did something ages ago that seemed completely benign at the time.
Yeah.
That has now resulted in this massive war that humanity is losing like loads of people in, kind of thing, So that's definitely a thing. So I'm just checking to see if I've missed any armies. No, that's all the Xenos taken care of, so we just need to take care of Chaos next. So that's the Eldar. Again, another thing that the Imperium can't trust is a threat against them. But a threat that has been known to try to corrupt and twist humanity. We've had Eldar turn up in governors' worlds and try and get them to do their bidding and stuff like that. Again, another insidious threat, psychic threat. No thank you. Humanity all the way. Go away. The Eldar must be wiped out. GW refuses to give us the best Eldar, the dinosaur riding Exodites. You're absolutely right. I thought that ever since I saw Mike McVeigh's conversion back in like 97. Dino Riders for the win. Rumour says they're coming, but from current GW, I'm not even sure that I want them. I mean,
yeah, the fruit got them instead.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's a good enough lizard men and Eldar bits to bash your own, and you'd have to make up your rules and stuff like that. But it was always this ultra. You're right. It's always this ultra cool side of the Eldar that we just never got to see, and it's a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
It is definitely a bit of a shame. So, Chaos, the number one threat, without a doubt.
Allegedly.
The most insidious threat. The longest opponent, I suppose, of the current Imperium or the number one, the one that hurts the Imperium the most is Chaos, because they're traitors. They are traitors to the Imperium. It's their fault the Emperor is dead. It's their fault Sanguinius is dead. It's their fault everything is shit. And it's definitely their fault that the Imperium is split in two at the moment, which is still a thing that I didn't like.
It's a silly idea.
So yeah, Chaos. This is more than any other reason why the Imperium is the right wing, authoritarian, dogmatic, horrible, shitty place that it is. Because of Chaos. So you've got the Chaos Gods, and they just, they're just pricks, really, aren't they? Let's be honest.
to quote Melchett, the private parts of the Chaos Gods are they play with us for their sport.
They're just pricks. You've got Khorne, the god of war, who just wants everything to die. She touches on blood and skulls. Give me blood and skulls, I don't really care how they come. Carnage, death, destruction, all of that. You've got Nurgle, who's like, I want to make everything rot and smelly.
Sisters Battle.
You've got Slanesh, who GW have somewhat toned down over the years, but it's basically the god of fucking. But now the god of excess.
Don't feed the internet, jeez. The god of excess.
Hey, there's enough memes out there as it is. But no, he's basically the god of excess and sensation, which they hadn't really covered. So that's fair enough. That makes sense. Which ties into the Eldar that they indulged a bit too much, and that's how they created Slanesh. And then you've got Tzeentch, and Tzeentch is the god of, whereas Slanesh is the god of fucking, Tzeentch is the god of fuckery and schemes and plots and all that kind of stuff, change. And these four gods and their various patrons and armies and all that kind of stuff, and their minions. That's good. Thank you. Cause untold woe to the Imperium. Like, they infiltrate planets, cause uprising, demon worlds just appear out of nowhere in the warp storms turn up, take entire systems, and the only thing that really keeps the Imperium going is that Chaos, like everybody else, can't really get along. The gods aren't really fans of each other that much. There's a lot of infighting and war bands.
Although the ones which really hate each other is always surprising, isn't it? Khorne and Slanesh.
Yes, and you'd think it'd be Khorne and Tzeentch because of the psychics, and it's not.
Yeah, because Khorne hates magic, but no. And then it's Nurgle and Tzeentch.
Yeah.
I mean, that would make sense because Nurgle is all about decay and entropy, and Tzeentch is all about changing things and basically continually moving.
Yeah. It's just the way they did it. I'm not sure. I mean, I would have thought it would have been Khorne and Tzeentch. Like, you even had rules for hatred of Tzeentch in some of the old Khorne armies. I'm sure. I think
it was fifth edition had those little hatred rules in them.
Yeah. Like the Fleshhounds of Khorne have anti-psychic collars and stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah, brass collars of Khorne.
Yeah. But no, that's not the way. But yeah, the point is that they don't get on. They do not get on, and because they don't get on, all their armies don't get on, and all the cultists don't get on, and it's basically a lot of infighting and chaos. And you've got some chaos dudes that don't serve any of the gods, and they're just out for themselves. Roving war bands and things like that. Huron Blackheart, Corsairs. Again, one of the most horrible things about Chaos is the way that Games Workshop has done it. Chaos should be amazing. They should look like your worst nightmare come to life. They should look fucked up beyond belief, and instead we've got smiling space marines with slightly spiky armor. Thanks, GW. You've turned Chaos are just Saturday cartoon villains. They really are.
Yeah, Nurgle well represented while being not very well represented.
Yeah, I mean, Nurgle has this kind of thing where they're like, oh, right, well, and I swear this is the Nurgling's fault. So they released some little Nurgling models, and a load of people, mainly girls, went, oh, they're so cute, they're so great. And then GW went, aha, we can get the ladies here. So you had a load of, like, cute Nurgle come out, is the only way I can really describe them. They're all a bit happy and, like, the sloppity Bile Piper, all joyful and springing around and prancing, and I'm like, and I kind of get it on one level, because if you read The Lost and the Damned, the books, you do get these, particularly the beasts of Nurgle are described as like puppies, like they bound across and sort of snuggle up against something they want to play, and then they get upset when their plaything dies and then bound off again. Yeah. And I'm like,
they corrupted it and infected it.
Yeah, exactly, because they've corrupted it and it just dies on them. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get that. And I'm like, that is kind of cool. Don't get me wrong. I like that angle. But it is way more horrific if you keep that thing looking messed up, decayed, and evil. like, or not even evil, like not even to have human emotions or expressions, just to have this horrific, decaying, misshapen, rotting form, but it acts like it's happy.
A giant play slug.
A giant play slug. That's way more horrific and interesting than just giving it a lolling tongue and comical googly eyes.
Zany face.
And a zany face. It's like the problem with Badlands, with the new Predator film, which I've reviewed on my other channel, and I think is absolute shit. I never wanted you to humanise the Predator.
They're not human.
They're not human. They're not fucking human. Stop making them human. Stop giving them human traits. They're humanoid, but they're aliens. They're meant to be inscrutable. I don't want to know when one is happy. I don't want to know when one is sad. And in this new film, Deck has got these great big puppy dog eyes, literally puppy dog eyes, that are just constantly making him look sad or it's just... Anyway, moving on. So yeah, you've got these chaos dudes of various types. So you've got these crusades that have been happening. You've got the Black Crusade, which became a meme after a while because they were so useless. And you've just got this constant threat against the Imperium. And at the moment, I didn't want to put the picture up because I hate the way they've done it. But at the moment, apparently the Imperium is split in two, and there's a dark side to the Imperium and a good side to the Imperium. Quite how that works on the galactic plane, I don't know. I don't care. But they've not done anything with it. They've just, I mean, that was like, what, 10 years ago now, nearly? They've done fuck all with it. It's just pathetic. But the Chaos is the big bad. Even though GW don't seem to know a way to make Chaos live up to their potential, and like some of the new Abaddon's nice. Some of the models they do are nice, but in general the range just looks silly. It just, the closest they came, in my opinion, was the Chosen that they did in Dark Vengeance.
Yeah, they were great. Absolutely great.
They were good. Other than that, they just don't look right. Chaos just look silly. You know, yep. It's like, yes, they've been lost in the warp for 10,000 years. 10,000 years! And they come out and their arm is a little bit spiky. You're like, right. It's like that Dr. Evil, you know, Austin Powers.
A little bit sus.
Yeah, it's just not living up to its full potential. There's 3D modelers out there doing great stuff. When I think of Chaos, oh, don't forget the cute little Disney creatures they gave him. Oh, mate, you've seen it then. Oh, I couldn't believe it. Have you watched my review on my other channel, Kevin? I broke it down. I did a review, and then I did 2-part video breakdown going through all this stupid shit in that, including the bit where they're attacking the base, and not one of the guards raised his arm, even though they're all synthetics. Badlands sucked, man. Oh God, so bad. Anyway, I need to get another beer in a minute. Chaos, unfortunately, they've just not lived up to potential. But I look at, do you know Bestarium models? Matt?
Oh, sorry, I thought you were still talking to our guest. No, I don't.
Bestarium models do what I kind of imagine Chaos to look like, more or less. You know, okay. They're meant to look totally messed up, and your worst nightmares come to life, like these Lovecraftian horrific things, and they're just too identifiable. They really are. They don't look like what they're meant to be. They're meant to be warp stuff manifest, you know. It's like when they released a box of skulls, yeah, and there's demon skulls. Right? There's not meant to be demon skulls. They're not meant to exist.
No, they're supposed to melt back into warp stuff when you kill them. Like, there's nothing keeping them together.
Exactly.
They're dead.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I mean, that's a minor thing at the end of the day, but I just don't think they ever really got Chaos right. But Chaos, taken as they are in the lore, at the very least, are another explanation for why the Imperium is the way it is, in that anyone can turn to chaos. Space Marines turn to chaos, even now. You know?
Mention it.
Worlds get lost to chaos. Imperial Guard regiments get lost to chaos. Be it they go through the warp and they get corrupted, or be they have a commander who gets corrupted. There's so many different ways in this universe that they've set up that somebody can get converted to chaos and become the enemy. And once again, it is the enemy from within. You never know who's going to try and assassinate you, who's going to rebel against you. As you've said, the Imperium is not a nice place. It is not a perfect system. It's the way it needs to be, but it's not even a system that, you know, it is an iron fist rule that that you know, promotes loyalty through fear. You know,
By necessity.
You know, people are meant to love the Emperor and everything like that, and it's all, you know, like God, like, you know, the Emperor works in mysterious ways, a theocratic society. But it's not nice, and obviously that is going to cause people to repel, to rebel, to become apostate. And when it comes to Space Marines, there's so much more than just Chaos Space Marines and loyal Space Marines. You've got Space Marines that just go, you know what, I am an ultra armoured, ultra powerful Space Marine warrior. I can pretty much do whatever the fuck I want.
And they do.
And they do. Like a Space Marine just be like, nice planet, I'll take it. You know, turns up, kills all the, you know, he might have a few buddies with him who's going to help him rule. You know, and this is one of the things that I wish GW would explore a little bit more, is that kind of grey area of the Space Marines. You know,
yeah, we've got Black Fields in 30k, which is pretty much that.
Yeah, it is, but I mean, in general, in 40k, it is just like, again, it gets all cartoon. It's like, these are the good guys and these are the bad guys. And then every now and then, with the Primaris, they try to do this kind of thing of like, oh, like, some of these are going to rebel and cause problems. It's like, no, they're not. You don't have, GW, you don't have the stomach to handle that kind of nuance. You're just going to, you know, even all the chapters that wouldn't accept Primaris in the end just turn around and went, yeah, all right, we'll take the Primaris. GW just weren't prepared to do anything else. They were like, we want everybody to have these Primaris. Our sales figures dictate that everybody has to take Primaris because we're only really going to sell Primaris and we don't want people to not buy our models. So therefore, bullshit reasons, all these Space Marine chapters that would never accept Primaris in a million years are now just going to have Primaris. And yeah, again, there's no nuance. I just love these ideas of Marines Malevolent. I remember there was a bunch of them that went off and served their own. I think they're in one of the Graham McNeil Ultramarine books.
They're the slightly muty guys, aren't they, with like spikes, but they're loyal.
No, you're thinking of the Black Dragons.
Am I?
Yeah, you're thinking of Black Dragons. Black Dragons are the guys that have got the spikes, and they're like looking a little bit dodgy, but they are still loyal. Marines Malevolent, I think it was, I don't know if it was an entire chapter, but there's a load of them that just went, yeah, you know what, fuck this, fuck this war, fuck chaos, fuck the Imperium, we've had it, we're done. And they just went,
this food's crap, I'm going to find something better.
Exactly, and just went off and did their own thing. A bit like the Red Corsairs, but Huron Blackheart is pretty much declared for chaos. These guys were like declared for no one. They're like, no, we fight. You know, we'll fight for whoever the hell pays us. Basically, they're mercenaries, and I like that idea behind it. That kind of grey area again of 40k that doesn't really get explored. But chaos, as written in the lore, is again the reason why the Imperium is the way it is. So, some final thoughts from you, Matt, on the threats to the Imperium and why that means it has to be the way it is.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it. When people are trying to take your stuff, when people are trying to corrupt your stuff, you have to keep a tight hold on it to guard it and make sure that it stays as it should, so that everything that you have is better off for it.
Yeah, I mean, you do. It's weird. If everybody has freedom and this is one of the things that I'm exploring in a novel that I'm writing, which has taken a lot longer than I thought it would, because world building is actually hard, which is why a lot of people are quite lazy and don't do it. The difference between absolute control and absolute freedom is the difference between a functioning and non-functioning society.
Yep.
If everybody is allowed to go off and do what they want and have their own ideals, and we're not talking about collectivism or individualism. These things are still allowed, but as far as the society goes, if everybody is allowed to take it in all different directions and have ultimate freedom, then you are not going to end up with something cohesive that works. If everybody in the Imperium was allowed to do what the hell they wanted, the Imperium would fall apart very, very, very quickly.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Isn't there a slightly silly but scantily clad TNG episode where Wesley is playing ball with some people on a planet they've just visited for the first time, and he just goes and catches something and lands in a flower bed, and then he's threatened with death?
Correct.
Is that anything to do? Does that fit into this at all? My brain was like, that might fit, and I'm like, does it though? I can't remember the premise. I remember.
Yeah, so basically they go down to this planet, and as you say, it's very 80s, very scantily clad. They're all wearing like silk and stuff like that. And basically what it is there's no crime on the world because there is a constantly rotating illegal zone. And you don't know where it is going to be. And what happens is Wesley Crusher, I mean, I think it kind of like the citizens get a notification, otherwise it's going to be a little bit harsh,
Yeah.
So you get like a notification like, this is going to be the illegal zone for the next however long or whatever. But the idea is that nobody will commit a crime because nobody knows at which point it will be illegal. Wesley Crusher is playing some stupid game, falls through a glass, breaks a flower, and they're like, yeah, we're going to have to kill you now.
Yeah, of course it's Wesley.
Unlucky. Sadly, Picard saves him. It's quite annoying, unfortunately. But yeah, it's this. It's what Star Trek did so beautifully, which was cast an aspersion or cast a lens upon a different way of doing things, without passing judgment.
Yeah.
So basically, the whole idea behind this civilization is, look, it's an idyllic civilization because any crime that is committed is like, there is only one sentence: you die. You commit a crime, we kill you. But the zone is always like shifting, kind of thing. And yeah, that's what he does. So basically, it is this kind of, again, a perfect civilization, and it's done through absolute fear of control. Yeah, the Imperium works. If the Imperium didn't work, it wouldn't have endured for as long as it is. Yeah. It's as simple as that. There are a lot of people out there that want the Imperium to be toned down, to be more accepting, less horrible and totalitarian and everything like that. And to those people I say, if you do that, you do not have Warhammer 40,000. If you do that, you do not have those lines that I spoke at the start of the episode. If you do that, then you might as well rewrite all of that to, in the slightly unpleasant darkness of the far future, there is mostly war, but otherwise there's a lot of parties with punch and pie.
Puppies and whatnot.
Do you know what I mean? And puppies.
Actual puppies, not beasts of Nurgle.
Not beasts of Nurgle. Actual puppies and fluffy hand grenades and lots of hand holding and pride parades and all that kind of stuff, and everybody's very happy and able to express themselves however they want. And I was like, that's not Warhammer 40,000.
Nope.
And if you want that, then you don't really want Warhammer 40,000. Because that's not what the setting is. Nobody is ever saying that the Imperium is a lovely place to live. Matt, would you like to live in the Imperium?
Am I a High Lord of Terror?
No, you are not a High Lord of Terror.
No, it sounds like a shithole.
Absolutely. Exactly that. Yes, you would not want to live in the Imperium. You would not want to be represented within the Imperium. The Imperium is a horrible, worst case scenario for humanity, where absolutely everything, and I do mean everything, is trying to kill you. Like, you wake up, you will have a life of servitude, you will be grateful for that life of servitude because you are serving the God Emperor. If you're lucky, you won't get killed that week.
It's true.
You know, that is it. That, you know, it's not a nice place. It is not Star Trek. Because GW wanted a setting with conflict. They wanted a setting with never-ending conflict, where they could get any two races of, you know, armies or models or whatever, and have them fight each other. And they figured that this was the best way to do it. And it started out as a satire of, you know, as you say, Thatcherite, post-Thatcherite Britain. And has just turned into this great big nightmare dystopia. And if it ever stops being that, then it will no longer be Warhammer.
Oh.
So, you know, this world where you have Inquisitors, constant suspicion, constant purges. Yeah, purges. You know, the Imperium can't take chances.
No.
It's as simple as that. It's a numbers game, and the Imperium's like, you know what? This city's turned against us. Yeah, there might be some innocence there. We're still going to fucking flatten it. We're going to teach them a We're going to teach them a lesson.
We're going to exterminate the site from orbit.
Yes, it's the only way to be sure. You know, it is cruel. It is a horrible, horrible place. But it is, as they say, there is no peace amongst the stars. There is only, you know, death, destruction, and the laughter of the ever-thirsting gods. That's the setting. That's what GW made the setting, regardless of the unreliable narrative scheme that they cast over everything. That is what they have told us. That is how the setting has to be. So yeah, when people do say that, oh, I want it all to be changed, and you know, you can do whatever the fuck you want with your army. You can paint them however the fuck you want. You can convert them however you want. You can make whatever you want. It's one of the great things about the hobby, is you can be as creative as you bloody want about it. But in Warhammer 40,000, there are no My Little Pony Space Marines. There are, in the Imperium at large, there is no acceptance. There is no like trans right parades or anything like that. That just is not in the setting. I'm sorry, it isn't. As I said, paint the models how you like. The fact that you need to constantly represent your sexuality in your models, that's something that I just don't understand. But it's not in the setting. It's not nice. It's not rainbows. It's not puppies. There is only war.
Yeah.
Did
I'm not
I?
saying you can't do it.
Did I fucking start?
Do it.
Yeah.
It's just that, you know, having headcanon, doing your armies and stuff, and the lore for your army is one thing. Expecting to change the official stuff to suit what you want, yeah, not so much.
Precisely. You can do whatever headcanon you want. Like Matt said, you want to do Necrons that ignored all the new lore and you literally just want to go, right, I've got a Lord, I've got some Immortals, I've got a load of Warriors, and I've got a load of Destroyers, and that's it. And my headcanon is that all that stuff never happened, you know, and that they're still being ruled by the Satan. And like, yeah, that's fine. Absolutely fine. You know, nobody can stop you from doing that. But it's not what GW have written, and nor would you change, you know, what GW have written. Are there a few things GW have done, especially in recent years, that I wish they hadn't done? Yeah, absolutely. Of course there fucking is. You know, there's a couple of big ones. But in general, I do not expect the Imperium to bow to my whims. Otherwise, everything would probably look like a Bolt for our album cover all the time, and it'd be awesome.
Like they used to.
Like it used to. Back in the good old days. You know. So that's it for today. What we're going to do, I mean, I don't know if we're going to get one of these done every week, but we're going to at least try and get one done every other week. The next one we do... Oh, and let's have a quick look at the poll. I did a poll. In the universe of Warhammer 40,000, can the Imperium afford to be liberal? 100% no.
No.
It's fairly comprehensive. Our next... we're going to... Hey, I put the opportunity for people to vote out there. You know, more democratic than the Imperium is. We're going to do the Space Wolves second edition codex with Carl, hopefully before Christmas. The next C.H.E.B.S that we do will be me, Matt, and maybe Carl, if I can rope him in, doing our best and worst Warhammer models of the year, plus any honourable mentions from any other ranges that we particularly feel like mentioning. Could even be some free 3D printed models. But mainly, you know, GW's offerings. Best and worst, Matt, I want you to come up with... let's do it by setting. So, Old World, Heresy, Age of Sigmar, 40k, and then specialist games will just bundle into... like the rest of the specialist games, if you know what I mean, like Blood Bowl, Necromunda, all that kind of stuff, because otherwise we'll be all day. Give me a top 5 and a bottom 5 for each, if you would please, sir. And we'll go through those in the next C.H.E.B.S. Do it like an end of year roundup. Because I was hoping that GW would be showing off stuff like in this Grotmas calendar, and that's why I haven't done it before now. I was like, okay, well, we'll add those into it, obviously, but no, not so much.
No. Just some stories and attachments.
Yeah, and I have my suspicions. So say again?
It's better than how it started off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I couldn't... fair play, actually, to GW, you know, for admitting it, for actually saying, not in so many words, that they nicked the detachments from next week and put them in now because everybody was not impressed. So, yeah, there's a bit of transparency that I didn't expect there, even if they did it in their usual level of corporate speak. But yeah, till next time, guys, which will be, as I say, the 2025 roundup, I think. We shall bid you adieu. Stay grognard. I will carry on working on the 3D printing video, and I've got a few other things in the works. So, yeah, keep your eyes out for that. So, thanks for tuning in, and from me and Matt, it's goodbye.
Splendid, and thanks. I'm going to go back to looking at the Ruin of the Salamanders leaks.